You know that feeling when you're driving down a stretch of highway you haven't been on in a while?
Oh, yeah.
And suddenly there's just this colossal, gleaming warehouse sitting right where an empty field used to be.
Right. It feels instantaneous, like it just popped up.
Exactly. It feels like someone just, copy-pasted a massive building into reality overnight.
Yeah.
But today, we're going to completely ruin that illusion for you.
Totally ruin it.
Because we have two sources today that really peel back the curtain on how the physical world around you actually gets built.
And they are very different sources.
Oh, completely. First, we've got an April 2026 press release straight from New York Governor Kathy Hochul's office.
So very formal.
Right. Formal, buttoned up, heavy on the numbers. But then right next to it, we have a blog post from the Fulton County Industrial Development Agency, or the FCID.
Which is amazing.
It is surprising. Well, it's one of the sassiest, most triumphant pieces of local government communication you will ever read.
It really is a fascinating contrast. I mean, you have the polished state-level victory lap on one side.
Yeah.
And on the other, this radically transparent look at the aggressive, honestly highly anxious realities of local economic development.
It's so anxious.
Yeah. The FCIDA blog post, it doesn't just celebrate a new building. It broadcasts a strategic victory to the rest of the corporate world.
So our mission for this deep dive is to uncover those hidden, really unglamorous gears of corporate site selection.
Right.
We're going to explore how a 50-acre plot of land goes from being a closed-state juvenile correctional facility.
Which is a huge detail.
A huge detail, yeah. Goes from that to a $160 million high-tech manufacturing hub.
And the anchor of our sources today is the announcement itself.
Right. So Niagara Bottling is building its first ever New York State facility in the town of Perth.
Which is in Fulton County.
Exactly, the Mohawk Valley region.
Well, to really get the gravity of this, we first have to establish who Niagara Bottling actually is. Because they are not some regional startup.
Definitely not.
Right. I mean, they were founded in 1963, so they're this family-owned juggernaut now with over 9,000 employees worldwide.
Wow.
Yeah, they operate more than 50 bottling plants across the U.S., Mexico, Australia, the U.K.
Oh, wow.
Producing private label, bottled water, teas, sports drinks, ready-to-drink coffee.
Right.
So when a company of that scale decides to enter a new state, they bring staggering capital with them.
Staggering is the right word. I mean, they are dropping a $160 million investment
Yeah.
to build a 362,000 square foot manufacturing and warehousing facility at what's called the Tryon Technology Park.
Which is massive.
Just to help you visualize the sheer footprint of that, 362,000 square feet is roughly the size of 6 professional football fields.
6 of them.
Yeah. They are dropping 6 football fields onto a former juvenile correctional facility, and they're expecting to break ground later this year.
And be operational by early 2027.
Right. But I actually have to challenge a statistic in the press release here because the capital to labor ratio is incredibly skewed.
Ah, you're looking at the job commitments.
I am. Yeah. So the state is celebrating a $160 million investment, but the company's only committing to create up to 70 new jobs.
Right.
That is over $2 million in capital investment per single job created.
It sounds wild when you put it like that.
It is wild. I mean, in the past, an industrial footprint the size of 6 football fields would be the primary employer for an entire zip code.
Absolutely.
It would employ hundreds, if not thousands, of manual laborers. So 70 seems glaringly low.
Well, that ratio tells the entire story of modern advanced manufacturing.
How so?
The state's press release explicitly notes that this initiative focuses on cutting-edge technologies,
Okay.
like advanced robotics and computing systems. When a multinational corporation drops $160 million on a facility today, the vast majority of that capital isn't going toward, concrete walls or break rooms.
Right, the building itself.
Exactly. It is being poured into highly automated, data-driven, continuous machinery.
So the building itself is essentially just a climate-controlled shell to house one giant, highly calibrated robot.
In a functional sense, yeah, that's exactly it.
Wow.
And because those automated systems handle the physical throughput, blowing the plastic bottles, filling them, sealing, palletizing at blinding speeds.
These just don't need the people.
Right. They simply do not require an army of manual laborers. What they do require is a highly trained, specialized workforce to keep the automation running.
Yeah.
If you look closely at the language in the press release, they emphasize the creation of up to 70 new, quote, skilled roles.
Skilled? Okay, that makes a
Yeah.
big difference.
Yeah, we are talking about robotics technicians, industrial engineers, data analysts, system specialists.
Right, yeah.
It's a perfect snapshot of the 21st century manufacturing economy. Massive capital expenditures resulting in a smaller volume of jobs, but jobs that require a much higher baseline of technical expertise.
Okay, that structural shift in the workforce
Yeah.
definitely makes sense. But this massive multinational company headquartered out in Diamond Bar, California doesn't just throw darts at a map of upstate New York and decide to build a 9-figure robotics hub.
Definitely not.
Niagara wouldn't commit a dime without knowing the ground was fully prepared for them,
Exactly.
which forces us to look at the massive, completely invisible infrastructure bills the state had to foot before Niagara even picked up the phone.
Right, the unglamorous stuff.
Exactly, the completely unglamorous subterranean work of site preparation.
Well, the overarching theme here is adaptive reuse.
Okay.
They are taking the Tryon site, which again was a New York State juvenile correctional facility, and completely reimagining it as an advanced manufacturing park.
Right.
But you can't just put up a for sale sign on a decommissioned state property and expect a bottling company to sign a lease.
I would assume not.
Right, because a juvenile facility is fundamentally designed for containment and decentralized housing.
Yeah, totally different architecture.
Completely. To convert that into heavy industrial use requires a teardown of the site's entire physical logic.
The engineering hurdles of retrofitting a prison into a robotics hub sound like a total nightmare.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you're ripping out restrictive foundations, tearing down secure dormitories, and replacing them with these massive load-bearing slabs required for heavy industrial equipment.
And doing that safely.
Right. And according to the sources, building that environment requires a mountain of invisible money.
Yes, it does.
Let's start with the operational incentives. Empire State Development is offering up to $1.5 million in Excelsior Jobs tax credits.
Which is a performance-based program.
Right, strictly tied to them actually creating those 70 skilled jobs.
But you know, those operational tax credits are really just the final sweetener.
The cherry on top.
Exactly. The real financial heavy lifting happens deep underground years before the announcement.
Okay.
So the site received a $9 million Fast NY grant, which was explicitly allocated for water pump stations, wastewater force mains, demolition, and earthwork.
Let's pause on the wastewater force mains for a second.
Oh, yeah.
Because we are not talking about standard municipal sewer lines here.
Not at all.
A force main is a pressurized system designed to push massive volumes of industrial wastewater out of the facility, often against gravity,
Right.
to a distant treatment plant.
Yeah.
I mean, that is serious subterranean engineering. It's like flipping a house, but instead of adding shiplap and a kitchen island to attract a buyer, you're ripping open the street to add high-voltage transmission lines and industrial wastewater pumps.
That is a perfect analogy. And speaking of transmission lines, there is the power.
Right, the Power Up grant.
Yes, the sources highlight a $15.3 million Power Up P grant, which is a brand new initiative from the governor's fiscal year 26 budget.
Wow, $15.3 million just for power.
Yeah, and the Fulton County idea is using that specific $15.3 million to connect the Tryon site to an existing 115 kilovolt national grid transmission main.
Which allows for, what, 25 megawatts of new electrical load?
Exactly, 25 megawatts. And that energy requirement is the crucial variable here.
Why is that?
Because 25 megawatts is industrial tier power. You don't need that kind of electrical load to just run the lighting and HVAC in a traditional warehouse.
Right, you'd blow the grid.
Exactly. You only require a 25 megawatt capacity if you are powering a continuous, highly automated robotics assembly line.
Oh, right.
Along with the heating and cooling demands of molding plastics and moving heavy fluids, modern manufacturing facilities are incredibly power hungry.
That makes a lot of sense.
So if a company finds a beautiful 50-acre plot of land, but the local grid cannot handle their energy demands, the deal dies in the boardroom.
Because they can't afford to wait 3 years for the local utility to run environmental reviews and string up high-voltage lines.
Right. Time is capital.
But I actually have to push back on the funding structure here.
Okay.
Because if Niagara Bottling is a multi-billion-dollar operation, why on earth should local and state taxpayers fund their water pipes and power lines?
It's a fair question.
I mean, why doesn't the state just tell the company to build their own grid?
Well, you're hitting on the fundamental tension of local economic development.
Right.
Because if the state forces the corporation to build the infrastructure, The corporation owns the timeline, the liability, and the capacity.
Oh, I see.
They will only build exactly what they need for their specific 50-acre footprint.
Right. They aren't going to overbuild for the town's sake.
Exactly. So by utilizing the $9 million from Fast NY and the $15.3 million from Power Up, the state is creating public infrastructure.
Yeah.
They are preparing not just Niagara's 50 acres, but building out capacity for 220 total acres of development.
So they are future-proofing the surrounding land.
Exactly that. The state is absorbing the upfront infrastructure cost so that the remaining 170 acres are highly attractive to the next 3 companies.
Making it shovel-ready or turnkey.
Exactly. They're laying the groundwork so that, semiconductor manufacturers, agribusinesses, or renewable energy companies can arrive, tap into that new 115 kilovolt line, connect to the force mains, and immediately begin construction.
It's about drastically lowering the barrier to entry for the broader market.
You hit the nail on the head.
And the sources also detail the Fulton County IDA's specific toolkit to lure these companies, which includes sales tax exemptions, mortgage recording tax exemptions, and pilot agreements.
Yes, the pilots are huge.
Just to be clear on how that works mechanically for you listening, a pilot or payment in lieu of taxes gives the corporation pure financial predictability.
Which they love.
Oh, they need it. Instead of facing property taxes that fluctuate wildly as the physical value of their massive new facilities skyrockets, they pay a fixed negotiated rate to the local government over a set period.
Right.
It drastically de-risks their 10-year financial models. And the mortgage recording tax exemption reduces the upfront capital friction of financing a $160 million build.
And that financial predictability is really the lifeblood of corporate site selection.
Right.
When a board of directors calculates the return on a massive capital expenditure, uncertainty is the absolute enemy. So by offering fixed tax liabilities and absorbing the infrastructure construction timeline, Fulton County removed almost every variable of uncertainty from the equation.
Which perfectly transitions us to the psychological side of this deal.
Yes.
Because the state and the county poured tens of millions of dollars into tearing down this old juvenile facility, laying these massive pressurized water pipes and stringing up high-voltage lines.
Right.
And Niagara Bottling comes along, sees that the plumbing actually works, and signs the deal.
Yep.
But to understand how this single water bottling plant alters the economic destiny of the entire county, we have to look at that incredibly sassy blog post from the Fulton County IDA.
I love this blog post. The tone is just remarkable because local government agencies are usually highly bureaucratic and restrained.
Very dry, usually.
Exactly. But the FCI isn't just celebrating the arrival of Niagara. They are weaponizing this announcement to speak directly to other corporate site selectors across the country.
Oh, I absolutely love the framing they use.
It's so good.
The title of the blog post reads, quote, Tryon Technology Park just got a $160 million mic drop.
A mic drop.
Right. And then they write, and I'm quoting directly from the source here, some economic development announcements are polite little handshakes. This is not one of them.
Oh, man.
They go on to declare that Tryon Technology Park is no longer full of potential. It has receipts.
Has receipts is such a loaded phrase in this context.
Right.
Because they are explicitly acknowledging that corporate real estate developers are deeply cynical.
Very true.
Those developers hear local mayors and economic agencies talk about their town's potential every single day.
Oh, we have so much potential.
Right. Everybody has potential. The FCID is saying, look, we aren't selling you a vision anymore. We are selling you a tested operational reality.
The blog specifically points out that companies aren't looking for vibes.
No.
They don't want to hear about how friendly the local community is or how scenic the sunsets are over the Mohawk Valley.
Right. They don't care about the sunsets.
They want to know if the power grid can actually handle automated operations, if the water pressure is guaranteed, and if the local government can actually navigate the permitting process without stalling the project for 3 years.
Right. It all comes down to the psychology of corporate site selection, which the blog post captures perfectly when it states, quote, nobody wants to be the guinea pig.
That line stood out to me as well.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the anchor tenant strategy in commercial real estate.
Oh, that's a good comparison.
Right. Like when developers build a massive new shopping mall, the smaller retailers won't sign a lease until the developers secure an Apple Store or a Macy's.
Exactly.
Once that massive anchor tenant is in, it immediately validates the foot traffic algorithms and the infrastructure.
Yep.
So what does this all mean? Is economic development basically just corporate peer pressure? Once the cool kid, in this case, Niagara, shows up and proves the water pressure actually works, everyone else suddenly wants to sit at that lunch table.
I mean, that's the perfect mechanical equivalent, honestly.
Really?
Yes. Corporate site selection is an exercise in massive risk mitigation. Imagine you are the site selector for a major semiconductor manufacturer.
Okay.
Very stressful. Your entire career is on the line. If you pick a location, spend $1 billion building a plant, and then find out the local government can't deliver on their promises about water capacity or grid stability.
Right.
If the lights flicker on an automated assembly line, you are getting fired.
Because the downtime costs millions of dollars an hour.
Exactly.
The risk is astronomical.
Astronomical. The anxiety is literally built into the role. So when Niagara, bottling a company with over 50 plants worldwide and the capital to hire the best engineering consultants on Earth, does their exhaustive due diligence and decides to plant a $160 million flag in Fulton County.
They've effectively done the homework for the rest of the market.
Exactly. Niagara absorbs that first mover risk. Their commitment drastically reduces the prove-it burden for the next developer looking at the adjacent lots. It validates the FCEDA's entire strategy of doing the unglamorous infrastructure work first.
The blog post drives this home. It says, quote, "That is not just economic development jargon. That is how you turn a former state facility into a future-focused manufacturing hub."
Yeah.
They are basically shouting to the rest of the corporate world, look, we did the hard part. The infrastructure is tested, the local government knows how to execute a pilot agreement, and the 25-megawatt lines are hot.
And that is the true compounding victory for Fulton County.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, the 70 highly skilled jobs are a win for the local workforce. Yes, the $160 million capital investment boosts the regional economic metrics. But the real prize is the unmistakable signal it sends to industrial developers everywhere.
Right.
The FCIDA blog points out that before this announcement, they could only promise they were ready. Now they can say they are ready, and a multinational corporation agrees with them.
It creates institutional confidence. It gives other companies the permission they need to take a closer look at the Mohawk Valley without feeling like they're taking a blind leap.
Exactly.
Which brings us all back to you, the listener, and how you observe the physical world.
Right.
Because this narrative isn't just isolated to Fulton County, New York. This is the hidden blueprint for how your own community evolves.
Totally.
When you're driving through your town and you see a massive new industrial park, or a sprawling Amazon logistics center, or a high-tech manufacturing plant appear where an empty lot used to be, you are not seeing an overnight success.
No, you are looking at the final, visible stage of a deeply complex, decade-long process.
You are looking at the finish line of relentless local lobbying for state funding. You're seeing the result of invisible subterranean engineering, millions of dollars in obscure grants to rip up old foundations,
Right.
and the incredibly anxious psychology of corporate risk mitigation.
Right.
The building is just the final piece of the puzzle clicking into a space that was painstakingly carved out for it.
Seeing the underlying mechanics really changes how you view local infrastructure.
It really does.
Which leads to an implication I've been considering regarding the concept of adaptive reuse that we explored today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we touched on the engineering realities of converting a juvenile correctional facility into an advanced robotics hub, but there is a profound conceptual shift there as well.
How do you mean?
Well, a juvenile facility is fundamentally designed for restriction.
Right.
Its architecture is built around confinement, limitation, holding people in place. To take a site with such a specific restrictive footprint and completely re-engineer its foundation to fuel a 21st century economy, to propel a region forward with a global capital and advanced technology is a massive paradigm shift for that physical space.
That's a great point. It's taking a piece of land designed to hold a community back and retrofitting it to be the economic engine of its future.
Exactly. And it leaves you with a critical thought to explore in your own surroundings. If a 50-acre site with that kind of heavy, restrictive history can be fundamentally rewired and reimagined to attract a $160 million corporate investment, what overlooked, abandoned, or outdated infrastructure in your own community is just sitting there.
Oh, wow.
Right. What empty lot, decommissioned factory, or forgotten municipal property is just waiting for the right kind of unglamorous, invisible investment to become its next great economic catalyst?
That is a phenomenal question to walk away with. because the potential is always there, hiding just under the surface, waiting for the underground pipes and the high-voltage lines to catch up to the vision.
Exactly.
Well, that wraps up our journey today from a closed juvenile detention center through the muddy subterranean trenches of million-dollar infrastructure grants, all the way to a $160 million corporate mic drop that puts an entire county on the map.
It's quite a ride.
Keep looking closer at the world around you. Keep asking questions about the hidden forces that build your community. And remember, the next time you see a massive warehouse appear overnight, you now know exactly how much invisible digging it took to get there. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.